Lorianne Post joins me now from Chicago. She's a professor of emergency medicine and medical social sciences and the director of the Institute for Public Health and Medicine at Northwestern University. Well, you heard Tony saying there that questions are mounting about how could this guy get his hands on these weapons, given the fact that he did have run-ins with the law. There's these red flag laws that we've heard so much about. They're in place in Illinois. Why do you think they didn't work this time around?
I think that's not the question. Is that the perpetrator was young, and I'm sorry, I'm getting back. The perpetrator was a young guy, so the juvenile record was sealed, and because he wasn't charged and convicted of a crime. So red flag orders and background checks can only work if the perpetrator has been convicted of a crime already.
I see. Well, you know, it seems like these suspects in these cases, and I know you've studied a lot of this, have a lot of, they share a lot of similar characteristics. What are some of the commonalities that you see, and what do you see in this case that's similar to others?
This one is very similar to, many of them in that they have like ongoing antisocial behavior that's over a long period of time. That's very alarming and very scary. And like many other ones, the first real crime that he committed was the mass shooting. So background checks aren't going to pick up a mass shooter until they commit the mass shooting. So it doesn't work.
Lori, one of the things that we hear after mass shootings, though, and you know this, one political party immediately says we need common sense gun legislation. The other party says, nope, it's a mental health issue. And I want to get your thoughts on that.
Well, we know that a ban on assault weapons and large capacity magazines works. We know several investigators have studied that in America and found that it was very effective when we had a ban in place between 1994 and 2004. We also know that other countries who implemented similar policies had very good success with no more mass shootings, like Australia. And while I know that people think that mental health is part of what created this person, it's too late to do any type of screening to prevent a mass shooting. This is a person with a personality disorder, anti-personality disorder, such as like psychopathy, sociopathy. That person has no empathy. There's nothing you can do to change him, and his objective is to kill as many people as possible. You can't screen for that.
You mentioned Australia after the Port Arthur shooting, as you well know. They took very strident measures. There really haven't been any mass shootings there since. Here in the United States, it just seems like, and you talked about the assault weapons ban and the impact that it did have, and yet it still seems like that's a tough sell in this country. I know you're a member of the NRA. Why do you think that is, and do you see a sense that maybe NRA members themselves are even changing on this?
I really can't speak to other NRA members or why, because it's become a very political party as opposed to it used to be about gun training. But I think, America is just, people won't give up their guns. And so, I mean, the question always comes to me from other countries. So why don't you want to give up assault weapons? And the answer is, I don't know why it's so politically charged and why, the NRA is funding politicians.
I did hear an interview recently with a mental health professional saying that there are a lot of young guys out there who are loners, spending a lot of time online, harboring dark thoughts with access to guns, but not all of them act on those impulses. And if you started intervening and committing them, there wouldn't be enough facilities to house all of them, that it's actually easier to implement common sense gun laws. I want to get your thoughts on that.
No, exactly. That's where I go. I mean, I can't think of how you could create a background check system that would catch or be effective, because the first offense is the mass shooting usually. And the other thing is, if they're younger people, their records are sealed, so background checks won't work. Red flag laws, again, won't work until there's a crime that's committed, or at least there's a really good threat out there. There wasn't one that's recent. It was something in his past. And so you can only hold a person for so many days. So it's not that the police didn't follow the laws, it's that the laws don't exist in a way that create a system that we could actually do, investigations about, alarming behavior. And so the best thing, we know what works, and we don't have to look for some secret solution. We know that a ban on assault weapons works. So it worked in America. It shaved off several mass shootings, and then it was like completely reversed. And then the minute we put it back, the minute that the law sunsetted, then we know that mass shootings began immediately, and then they escalated. And they're escalating faster than the homicide rate. They're escalating faster than population growth. So there's no question that it works.
Lori Ann Post, thanks so much for your analysis. Appreciate it.
Thank you.